Dancing for Him family, I am Chandra and this is my video upload for the September worship study and activation from the Breaking Out, Entering In chapter of the Worshiping Bride book by Wesley Scott Amos. Now, this Christian journey was never promised to be easy, but it is rewarding. At some point, we will have encountered extremely difficult times where it seemed like the situation was hopeless. Well, hopeless in our eyes. We may have even felt trapped by our own dire surrounding circumstances, or we may have endured some false accusations. There are plenty of people that are snickering and jeering about us because they don't understand the calling, unique calling that is on your life. Now, these are strategies of the devil that are meant to oppose, distract, and discourage us from being all that we can be in God. His tactics are meant to depress, mislead, confuse, and bind us in adversary to keep us from accomplishing the damage that we can do in the spiritual realm. Satan will not stop, and he was always finding ways to persecute us. And sadly, some of us succumb by the situations by getting discouraged and even giving up. We know that these attacks are coming, but we already know how to break the bonds of the enemy through our powerful praise to the Almighty and powerful God. Now let's look at how powerful our praise can be in the midst of opposition by looking at Paul's response to his persecution in Acts 16:19 through 21, when he was falsely accused, beaten, and imprisoned. Paul was in chains, he was hungry, he was tired, and he was in pain from his beating. And it would have been understandable if he would have complained or even given up like most of us would have. Some of us would have even blamed God instead of throwing himself a pity party. He and Silas began to sing hymns and praising God and worshiping God. And in response, God caused an earthquake to happen, and prison doors were opened, and the prisoners' chains were unfastened. Paul even led the jailer and his family into salvation. The lesson: as we focus on God and those to get and promise to give him sincere praise no matter what the circumstances, God is able to break us out of any binding strategies of the enemy so that we can fulfill our purpose. So this activation is focused on breaking free from the oppressing strategies of Satan by giving God praise and worshiping him. The song that's playing in the background is Praise Him in Advance by Marvin Sapp. The activation begins with a large circle of people waving flags and marching around in a clump, with people in a clump in the middle. The group should be split up as close to even as possible. The people in the middle is given time to reflect on what situations that are holding them back from moving forward or progressing towards what God has purposed them to do. Then they are instructed to praise and worship God while the circle of people, which are representing imprisonment, are instructed to stop marching, put down their flags, and hold their hands up and march around the people. The instructor, being led by the Holy Spirit for release, will instruct the marching circle to stop. While they're still holding hands, they will raise their hands and drop them down quickly. And as soon as their hands reach their side, they will release their hands to represent the doors opening up in the prison. The people in the middle will shake off their imaginary chains, and then they will switch with the circle of people and pick up their flags and begin the march. And the circle of people will gather in the middle, and the activation repeats.